Kai had never moved so fast in his life. The orb darted through the air, leaving streaks of light behind like tiny comets, and he had to anticipate its every twist and turn. The Lyrian girl stood to his side, smiling as she guided the movements subtly with her gestures. "Faster," she said, her voice light and teasing. "You can do better, human." Kai gritted his teeth, pushing his arms higher, moving in ways he didn't know he could. Sweat dripped down his forehead, mixing with the red dust of Thrynia, and his muscles ached with exertion. Yet he couldn't stop. Every time he caught the orb, a spark of triumph surged inside him. He was learning, adapting not just to the orb, but to her. "You are clever," she said, circling him again. "Few humans have your patience." Kai paused for a brief moment, catching his breath. "I've always been stubborn," he admitted, smiling faintly, "even when things seem impossible." She laughed softly, the sound like wind through chimes. "Good, you will need that stubbornness. This world is not kind to the weak or the slow." The orb split again, this time into 5 lights, each moving unpredictably. Kai's eyes widened. "5?" he asked. "5," she said simply. "Only those who can see patterns will survive the rest of the day." Kai focused, his mind sharpening like never before. He noticed that each orb moved in response to her gestures and his own reactions. It wasn't random, it had a pattern. Slowly, almost instinctively, he began predicting the movements. One by one, he caught the lights. When he finally held all 5 steady in his hands, the Lyrian girl clapped her hands joyfully. "You see," she said, eyes glowing with excitement, "you are learning faster than any human I have taught." Kai smiled, panting, but inside he felt proud. This playful game, which had seemed almost impossible at first, was now a challenge he could master. He realized that the game wasn't about the orb at all, it was about observation, learning, and trust. "You are different," she said suddenly, her expression softening. "Humans are usually clumsy, impulsive. You think before you act." Kai felt a warmth in his chest. "I guess I've always had to survive on my own," he said quietly, "and I've learned that thinking first helps." The girl nodded, her golden eyes shimmering in the light of Thrynia's strange red sun. "You will need that skill," she said. "There are dangers here that even the strongest Lyrians fear." Kai frowned. "Dangers? Like what?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she beckoned him to follow her. They walked through a narrow canyon, the walls towering above them and casting long shadows that seemed to twist in the wind. The orb floated beside them, spinning lazily as if aware that the lesson was changing from play to preparation. "You see," she began, her voice low, "Thrynia is not just a mining planet. It has life that humans cannot imagine. Creatures that can move silently, strike without warning, and think in ways you cannot predict. The game I teach you now is only the beginning." I listened intently, trying to imagine what could be worse than the harsh landscape they were already in. "You humans think machines and logic are enough," she continued. "But survival here requires instinct, awareness, and courage." Kai nodded, absorbing every word. He had already seen enough of the Lyrians to know that they were different, not just in appearance, but in perception, in the way they interacted with the world. This girl especially was a window into their ways of thinking as they walked. She explained that the orb was not just a toy, it was a training tool designed to test the mind, reflexes, and adaptability of any learner. "It responds to intent," she said. "If you hesitate, it slips away. If you predict wrongly, it avoids you. Only those who can synchronize their mind and body can succeed." Kai felt a thrill. This was exactly the kind of challenge he craved. He realized that the Lyrian girl wasn't just playful for fun, she was preparing him. "Tomorrow," she said as they reached a plateau overlooking a valley, "we will test something harder. You will face the true challenge of Thrynia." Kai looked down into the valley, his eyes widening. Below, strange shapes moved between the rock screechers that seemed almost translucent, yet clearly alive. He could see them shifting, scanning, hunting. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. "These are the guardians of the mines," she explained. They do not attack for sport. They attack for survival, and they do not forgive mistakes. Kai swallowed hard, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. I think I understand why the game matters now, she nodded. Yes, if you cannot keep your mind sharp, if you cannot predict patterns, you will not survive even the simplest encounter. But you are learning. The girl sat down on a smooth rock, her legs crossed in a way that seemed effortless. She looked at Kai and smiled again. You will continue tomorrow, and I will push you further. But for now, rest. Even the strongest need to recover. Kai sat beside her, feeling a strange sense of camaraderie. He had been on Thrynia for only a few days. Already he felt a bond forming with this alien being, despite the differences between them. She was challenging him, teasing him, and teaching him all at once. He couldn't help but respect her as the sun set fully. Painting the sky with deep purples and blacks, the Lyrian girl stood. Tomorrow, you will see why I play with humans. It is not cruelty. It is preparation. Kai nodded. I'll be ready. The girl tilted her head, studying him with those golden eyes. Yes, she said softly. I think you will be. Kai returned to his quarters that night, lying on his simple bed with his thoughts racing. He thought of the orb, of the way it moved, of the way she had guided him without giving direct instructions. He realized that he was learning not just to catch lights, but to understand patterns, to anticipate actions, and to trust his instincts. The next day, as promised, the challenge intensified. The Lyrian girl introduced new tools, new orbs, and new games, each designed to test a different skill: reflexes, prediction, problem-solving, and even teamwork. Kai felt himself growing sharper, more aware of the environment around him, more capable of understanding both the Lyrians and their world. By the end of the week, he was no longer just a human visitor trying to survive. He was a participant, a learner, someone who could navigate the strange rhythms of Thrynia with skill. One evening, as the red sun dipped behind the mountains once again, the girl approached him. You have done well, she said, her golden eyes shining. You are ready for what comes next. You are different from the others. I think you might even surpass them. Kai felt a surge of pride, but also humility. He had learned that this world was vast, dangerous, and beautiful in ways humans rarely understood. And he had learned that guidance could come in unexpected forms: a playful alien girl, an unpredictable orb, and the strange testing games that prepared him for survival. He looked at her and smiled. I'll keep learning, she smiled back, her expression softening. Good. Because Thrynia is not done testing you yet, but you. You are ready for the first real trial. Kai's heart raced. He knew that the weeks ahead would be filled with challenges, danger, and lessons unlike any he had known. But he was ready. He was human, and humans had a way of surviving. When others failed, and as the night sky of Thrynia shimmered with distant stars, the orb floated beside them, glowing softly. The game had begun. But this time, Kai was not just a player. He was a learner, a survivor, and perhaps in time, something more. The bond between human and Lyrian had begun, and together they would face the trials of Thrynia, testing not just skill, but trust, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. Kai didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time, he felt confident that no matter the challenge, he could rise to meet it. And the playful smile of the Lyrian girl reminded him that sometimes the hardest lessons were the most enjoyable and the most transformative. Alex had never seen anything like Varelia. The planet's surface was jagged and harsh, with jagged cliffs that rose like the teeth of some giant beast and winds that howled across the plains. Even the sky seemed different here, a soft green hue streaked with orange clouds, giving the day an eerie, beautiful light. He adjusted his helmet and scanned the horizon. The ruins of an ancient alien city lay ahead, half buried in stone and dust. Alex's heart beat faster, not with fear, but with excitement. As a human engineer, he had been trained for emergencies. but nothing in his training prepared him for discovering the secrets of an alien
civilization.
Alex's crew was busy setting up their temporary base near the ruins. They had been sent here to study energy readings that had baffled their scientific team. Back on Earth, the readings came from a particular section of the ruins that had been inaccessible for decades, and some of the signals seemed almost alive. The crew worked quickly, their voices carrying over the wind in low, professional tones. Alex, as usual, stayed focused on his own task, scanning for energy fluctuations and mapping the ruins' structural integrity. He walked carefully among the broken pillars, his scanner humming softly. The ruins were older than anyone could estimate. Millions of years old, but the energy readings suggested that something inside still worked. Alex crouched near a collapsed archway and adjusted his scanner. A sudden spike made the device beep wildly. His eyes widened. Something was moving inside the structure. Something alive or at least reactive. Alex called out to the team. "Hey, I've got a reading." Could be a hidden chamber? His voice was carried away by the wind, but the crew heard him. 2 of them came over, curious, but the rest stayed behind to secure the base. Alex felt a thrill of anticipation. He had always loved moments like this, when discovery and danger danced together as he stepped into the archway. But the ground beneath him trembled. The scanner glowed brighter, and a section of the wall slid open silently, revealing a hidden chamber. Alex's breath caught in his throat. The room was filled with faint glowing symbols that seemed to float in the air. And then he saw her. A figure stepped out of a shimmering portal in the center of the room. She was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Her skin had a soft, silvery glow, and her eyes were large and luminous, reflecting colors he couldn't name. Her hair floated slightly as if she were underwater, and her movements were precise, careful, and elegant. Alex froze, unsure whether to step forward or retreat. The alien woman looked at him with curiosity and caution. Her gaze was intense, and Alex felt a strange pull toward her, a feeling of recognition and awe he could not explain. For a moment, they simply stared at each other. He wanted to speak, but his voice seemed to fail him. Finally, he found his words. I'm Alex. I'm human." He held out a hand in a universal gesture of peace. The alien tilted her head, studying him. She did not speak, at least not in words Alex could understand. Instead, a small wave of energy pulsed from her chest, almost like a heartbeat, and he felt a warmth spread through him. Alex's curiosity outweighed his fear. "Are you alone?" he asked softly. She nodded slightly, her eyes never leaving his. He realized she could sense his intent, his thoughts, even in a way he could not explain. "Come on," he said gently. "You can trust me. I won't hurt you." The alien hesitated for a moment, then stepped fully into the chamber. Alex guided her carefully out of the ruins toward the base. His crew was watching, their expressions a mixture of astonishment and caution. "What is that?" one of the crew members whispered. Alex shook his head. "We don't know yet, but she doesn't seem dangerous. She's intelligent." The alien, whom Alex decided to call Lyra, was cautious but curious. Alex showed her around the base, explaining basic technology and simple tools. Lyra responded with subtle gestures, touching objects and making small energy pulses that illuminated her understanding. She seemed fascinated by simple machines and the way humans built things. Alex realized quickly that she was not just intelligent, she was brilliant. Over the next few hours, Alex and Lyra explored the energy readings together. She showed him a strange ability. She could sense unstable energy and manipulate it slightly, a gift her species must have developed over thousands of years. Alex was careful to observe and learn, amazed by her precision. "You're incredible," he said. "I've never seen anything like this." She simply nodded, almost shyly, as if she were unused to praise. As night fell over Varelia, the temperature dropped sharply. Alex guided Lyra to one of the quarters prepared for him. She had never experienced the cold of this planet's nights, and Alex noticed her body starting to shimmer faintly with stress. "It's cold," he said gently. "You can stay here." Lyra hesitated, but then stepped inside. She seemed exhausted from the journey and the energy she had spent. Alex made sure she was comfortable. He sat beside her as she observed the simple human bed. There was a tension in the air, a quiet understanding growing between them. Suddenly, the base alarm went off, a surge from the alien ruins. The energy readings spiked dangerously, and the lights flickered. Alex grabbed his communicator. "We have a surge. Everyone stay alert." Lyra stiffened beside him. The pulse of energy was growing stronger, resonating with her presence. Alex realized that if the energy hit her directly, it could be dangerous. He moved closer, instinctively putting himself between her and the glowing portal in the room. Lyra looked at him with wide eyes, and without warning, she reached out and pulled him toward the bed. "Mine," she whispered. The word startled Alex, but there was no anger or threat in it. It was protective, possessive in the sense of caring, of wanting to keep him safe. Alex nodded, understanding immediately. "Okay, I've got you," he said, keeping his voice calm. He wrapped an arm around her, holding her close as the energy pulses shook the room. Lyra did not let go, pressing herself against him, and Alex could feel the warmth and intensity of her being. For the first time, he realized the depth of their connection. This was more than simple cooperation. It was trust, understanding, and reliance across species. The energy surge lasted only moments. But in those moments, the bond between them solidified. Lyra's glow dimmed as the pulse stabilized, and she relaxed slightly against him. Alex's own heart raced, but not from fear. He felt something he had never experienced before, profound connection to someone completely different from himself. Someone whose life and mind were alien, yet whose trust in him was absolute. As the night settled, Alex and Lyra stayed close. The storm outside raged, but inside the base, they found a strange calm. Alex realized that Lyra's presence had changed everything. She was no longer just an alien curiosity or a scientific anomaly. She was someone he wanted to protect. Someone whose safety mattered above all else. And for Lyra, Alex represented something she had never known. A human she could trust completely. By the time the crew returned from securing the external equipment, they found Alex sitting quietly, Lyra close by. Both of them calm despite the recent danger. Alex smiled faintly. "She's okay," he told them simply. "She's with me. We're safe." The crew exchanged looks, amazed at the human-alien bond forming before their eyes. Some of them whispered that they had never seen anything like it. That humans could inspire trust, even in beings from a completely different world. Alex felt a quiet pride, but also a deep sense of responsibility. Lyra rested her head slightly against his shoulder. Alex could feel the steady rhythm of her energy pulses. She didn't speak again that night, but her presence said everything. She had chosen him as a protector, a friend, and perhaps something more profound. And Alex, in return, felt an unshakable urge to keep her safe, to learn everything about her, and to show her that humans, despite their flaws, were capable of great loyalty and courage. As the first light of Varelia's sun broke over the horizon, casting green and gold streaks across the rocky landscape, Alex and Lyra sat together by the window. There was no need for words. They had survived the night, the energy pulse, and the uncertainty of first contact. And in that quiet moment, the human and alien shared an understanding that would shape the days to come. Whatever challenges awaited them in the ruins, in the alien technology, and in the vast universe, they would face them together. And in that unity, Alex realized, lay the true power of humanity, not just strength or intelligence, but trust, courage, and the ability to form bonds that transcended worlds.